finally, another Philosopher's Guide to a Better Life lecture. I will explain a little bit closer the whole idea of core and how I see it. This is how I visualize it in my head. All right, so the visual of the core, So we have here, imagine this is the core, these are your eyes. You can see it as, the soul is in the eyes, all right, if you want to. So this is you, or this is all of us. We usually see the world, so the blue here is what we usually see the world, and my philosophy is the green here. I will explain everything. So first, most people see the world like this, all right? You have a woman here, we're in a room here, you have a TV here, whatever it is, a screen, information, the eye here, information, and information in and out. But the thing is, it's usually just in for most people. So you see, here's the core. Most people in life, let's say you have a book here, and you just collect information, collect it, and it just stays here within your core, Why? So if this increases with time, it will get, why am I not this? Why am I? So you see, it will be unsatisfaction in life. You will always be unsatisfied in life. You keep on comparing yourself to others, the external world. So you see, a lot of those men are correct, but in some sense, they're not, because it is about creating things, It is about creating things. You take the information and you start creating things. It's not just for you to collect, because this will implode. You either go destruction or you go creation. I will explain this in a different lecture, perhaps right after this, because I want to go deeper into that as well. So most people, they read a book, they listen to what other people say. This is a woman, but she can represent all sorts of people. This can be a partner, but it can also be a sister. It can be, it can be whatever. It's a human being here. And you seek validation and stuff like that, but not just validation, right? The core of validation is just comparing yourself to what you're not. So the ego, this is actually an important thing in the human psyche and evolution and growing up in general, because we gotta have this, because you always compare yourself to external objects so that you understand who you are and what you are. That's the whole, otherwise you wouldn't be able to function in the world. So that's why when people repress this and try to repress the ego, like Buddhists, like monks, like modern digital monks as well, like these MGTOW, all right? You're ignoring this, you're trying to suppress this, and that is unhealthy. That's my whole point. You see, you keep on collecting information, resentment. That is what happens, after a while. Now, I'm not saying that every single person gets resentment and stuff like that. Some people can, balance this, but a lot of modern day people can't balance this, not even close. So people keep on collecting information. Why am I not this? Why am I not like this celebrity here? Or why am I not like this man here? Or, why am I not like this woman here? Because you're you. But also, in history, I'm such a, terrible artist, or, I can't ever achieve the artistry of Leonardo da Vinci, something like that. Well, that is ambitious, but perhaps even, lesser. And you start comparing yourself to YouTubers, and that's perhaps even closer, you why am I not like this YouTuber? That's more achievable. So you feel that is even worse. In history, you don't care much, like Leonardo da Vinci, you don't care that you can't get into his level, but you care about not getting into some random person on YouTube, on their level. But it's all about practice and experience and experiencing life. You see, that's why I see truth and experience as close, And that's why this regular philosophy is terrible. You see, you get nowhere. You keep on collecting and doing nothing. So this is the work of a collector, not a creator. And this is, in a lot of sense, in a lot of ways, that is the womanly, you know? You preserve, you protect, you analyze. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a womanly thing. It's more of a womanly thing. I'm not saying all women are this. I'm not saying all women should be this, all right? I'm saying most women are like this. And most men should be the useful. You see, men are simple, women are complicated. We all know this, all right? They're complicated because they have all this information, overly analyzing everything. While we have men that just go out there, how do I use this? You see, that's the most manly thing here. How do I use this? You see, in some sense, my philosophy is about being manly in a lot of ways. So, in some sense, but it's created by man, so no wonder. But in a lot of ways, you know, you can just keep the other philosophy and you have women. So, and then you have both. You have the mainstream, and then you have the manly non-mainstream, and you clash, and you get everything. You see, everything is just one in a lot of ways. So a man, but this is much more healthy, especially for men, all right? But I believe this is for, you know, I believe this is for everyone, because it's not healthy for women to just move too much within themselves either. They should have, you know, meaning outwardly as well, with children and their man and, you know, friends and so forth. The same with men, their children, their women, their friends, and so forth. You see, there is universality there. I'm not saying that just women should be with their children. Of course, men should also be with their children. So, how to use this? You become something, all right? So, of course, you have to collect some information, but you don't, this is like 20%, and then you go, 80% with creation, with creating. How do I use this? Using this means also knowledge, all right? How do I use this knowledge that I've collected from books and everything, experience, life experience, books, everything? How do I use this to create something? How do I become something? A creator, the life of the creator. And that's core philosophy, of course it is. The visual, and this is the visual of the core. You see everything from this perspective. When you see something and you read something, first off, this person will choose books that are useful to him, that gives him something. You don't just read about anything. You read stuff that you feel your soul needs and you understand what you need right now. And even useful stuff, but also philosophical stuff if you're the philosophical person. In a lot of ways, philosophers are a little bit more womanly because we analyze like this. But you don't have to, because you can also train and build muscles, all right? So you counter that. You see, it's a life about counterbalance. You still want to be manly. It's not like Aristotle was womanly, all right? It's not like all these ancients where they were warriors, and also thinkers. You see, it doesn't have to be this idea of the womanly philosopher. It doesn't have to be that. We can create something new here, something out of the contrarians and out of the mainstream. We create something new. So the information you take in, you also use the information. But most people just keep the information in and they don't use the information and go out there, out of the door and creating something in life. Instead, they're just inside here, within the room and never leaving. And that is comfort. You see, you're in your home. This is comfort. No risk, preservation, womanly. Nothing wrong with women, all right? We need womanly. We need the womanly. But we don't need all men to be womanly. You see, the core should be useful to us. The core, we have the core here. It's also about training, of course, and dieting and stuff like that. So you get your information, the information you need, but then you also apply things you don't just go like this all the time. This is most people, they just go like this, just collecting, watching YouTube, watching everything, and then doing nothing. You gotta do the push-ups, you gotta do the stuff. So for every collecting, you gotta creating. for every collection, you gotta have a creation. That's the rule. Everything you collect, you gotta use. Everything you collect, you have to use. Even if I'm reading right now a history book, I'm reading a history book about the Balkans. We have the Ottoman Empire and stuff like that. But there is use there, and I use it to understand myself, to understand wisdom, and to understand the change of human nature and change and so forth. And you understand the cosmopolitan things of things, and understand human nature in societal, in psychology and everything. So that is this lecture. Let's go to the next lecture, where I will talk a little bit about health, that we put health into the center of everything.